What's up, everybody? My name's Crytek and welcome back to some more Genshin Impact. So, we have a unique video here. If you have watched my 1 week of building Furina, which was literally the day of, after the first week of her release, back in patch 4.2, it was an interesting time, right? We had a different abyss cycle, same with 4.1, having the abyss still there when I was actually doing Furina stuff and building her up. And even the testing I've done has kind of gated and changed to a point that I don't see any semblance of a reason to show everything when builds have changed. The abyss has changed, the amount of damage and whatnot fluctuates, right? So I had to give it a more fair chance and actually show how much Furina improved on my Genshin Impact account. And thanks to all this is going to exist for one good reason. I want to see the increase on my D-Loop team for Vape comps. I want to see my highest ceiling damage with my boy Al-Haytham. I want to test the Vape variant for Hotel as well, because I actually tested her in the most recent Abyss cycle with the Hydra Tulpa. I also want to give this another try. I recently got a better feel of a build for my Thunderstrike Kuching, which you really need when playing this comp, because the extra Electro app actually really is nice. And I've also tested her in the Abyss already. And then, of course, Miss Mia, because her banner's coming up in patch 4.3, and it's pretty good, to say the least. This team is alright. Just not having a shooter kind of feels kind of eh. And there's definitely moments that are very concerning when it comes to expectations when playing Mia in general, but it's fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing that needs to be taken into question, though, Raiden Taser, which I have actually played before, but I am not testing that on my account. I'm not testing that for the videos, so you'll have to go somewhere else for that. I don't particularly like playing Raiden, but I did play this team, and I did enjoy it a little bit more than Rational, which was my favorite team I like playing, but I got tired of playing Shuttling, and I got tired of playing Rational because I hate the knockback of Overload a lot, but it is what it is. It's a good team, though, and if you enjoy Raiden, this team is very good. When it comes down to it, there is other team comps I could share, but I don't see the point. Like, there have been teams that were involved with Ganyu in Furina I could do, because I have Ganyu on my account as well, but I don't really like playing Ganyu as much as I used to, and trying to force into a niche that I have already tested before with, like, burst damage Ganyu support build, some DPS build. I played that before, and it's okay. And it feels a little bit better than what I used to do with her in the past, but that's besides the point. The point is, this video that I'm creating is going to be based off of... Now, at the end of this engrossingly long intro, this video is about my 4 favorite teams with Furina, Diluc, Al-Haytham, Kuching, and Hu Tao, and see how C0 Furina with a Crown 10 burst impacted my account. I have a lot of footage I have put upon myself for every team comp that we're going to do. We got 5 of them. Diluc Vape with Furina. Hu Tao Vape with Furina. Mia Vape with Furina. Then we got Quick Bloom Kuching with Furina. And then lastly, my main Quick Bloom Al-Haytham team. And with these teams, I'm going to test how far it has changed. I have footage throughout the time that I had worked on these over time, and even though it was back in a 4.1 Abyss before Furina's release, and I ended up playing in that Abyss cycle when noelle and Risley were out the patch beforehand. And then in the 4.2 Abyss, I had tested it again. Things have changed. I've gotten new artifacts that upgraded my pyro damage dealers for the testing I wanted to provide, but some of these things are going to be a bit nuanced. The only ones I know that I will test and see how it really changed is really just Diluc and Hu Tao. Yoimiya is just for the feel of how much the strength really impacts her, because I have something to talk about with that. We're going to test the vape teams. Since I already have footage for Hu Tao that I've already done in the most recent Abyss, I'm just going to test my best built variant that had impacted when I tested my Diluc with Furina in the overworld. I'm going to put that damage to the test in the Abyss, and I'm going to do it with Yoimiya. Yoimiya's build is already all thought out, but she's improved ever so slightly again. I hope that I had everything prepared in advance, but I think I did, so it should be fine for the process of showing what she actually is shown from the footage I provided. I played her in other Abyss cycles and she felt pretty okay, but in this most recent one, which is where she's supposed to excel in because second half banners are starting in 3 tomorrow, it's interesting to say the least that she feels better on the side where her solo damage really matters, even though she can be used in the first half of this Abyss cycle. Even now, editing this, I cannot believe the yap session I'm having. Jesus Christ. I didn't even get straight to the point of one thing I forgot to mention because of the yap session I had. The whole point of this video is to test the damage from level 8 talent Furina to level 10 talent Furina. When I test these teams, if there is footage to be provided, I will show the footage. And then I will again show myself actually doing the Abyss cycle again in actual time of recording it, to then show off if there was any change in the damage from the team on level 10 talent Furina after showing the level 8 one, right? This is the whole point of this, and I can't believe I didn't even show that, and I am sorry for that. Now, I'll be honest, we're just going to get through the first part of this section pretty quickly, because I didn't play Yoimiya for too long, but I'll talk over this, because this is when I actually started doing my testing, and this team here, I used on the second half of the Abyss with the Thundering Manifestation, which usually Yoimiya is good against him, because he was about to release when she did, so, yeah. It was alright. Again, I would just save my spiel at the end where I show, you know, the footage and whatnot, because I do talk about it there, but I'll talk about it here as well. Yoimiya is kind of too glad candy in this team, so I would not actually play this. I just did this for pure fun, because I was like, I thought it was cool that Yoimiya has like another team she could play, and then there is more to be had with another new 4-star that's, you know, around the corner, but, you know, that's beside the point. I thought this team was alright, so, yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's too rough to play without a shielder, because Yoimiya really needs that. She's one of those characters that actually needs one, not, you know, what? Maybe you want one, because it would be more comfortable. No, she needs one. Well, should I even test the upgrade that she has to Yoimiya? No. I'm sorry. Like, I could try both sides of the Abyss with this team, and I just still don't see this as her best team. This has to be her best team, but right now, unless we get an actual shield unit that does a lot of healing, that would power creep a lot of things. Like, isn't Baiju. I know Baiju feels a lot better than, you know, Jean in this team. But I would not put Baiju in this team. As much as I would love to. Like, you can do it, and it probably will work okay. But I think he needs to be a different element so that Yoimiya doesn't feel the detriment of, you know, Denjo. But I guess it's to the eyes of the beholder. Either way, I think I'm done using Yoimiya for now. Alright, next team is going to be my OG, my boy. My second, unfortunately, my second 5-star I got from the standard banner, but he was technically my second 5-star on my account. He was the second 5-star I got within 2 temples after my first 5-star standard banner character, D-Luke. My boy got his gravestone, his build set up with his team, the similar core, but just switching out Jean because I think Bennett really synergizes better with D-Luke because D-Luke wants a lot of damage percent. And thanks to Furina with C0, it does the God's work. Back in former Abyss patches, I had footage of some high numbers I got on D-Luke from the 4.1 Abyss going to 4.2 with the actual current patch that Furina released in. And in that current patch that Furina released in, it was a bit shaky, honestly, with how much the healer meta was starting to take shine to Furina, and it really impacted wanting a healer because it kept putting Riptons all over the place in that Abyss cycle. So now we're in a new cycle where it's mostly DPS checks to some degree, but it's not difficult at all. I'm gonna prove that. I have tested, of course, in the former Abyss cycle, but I haven't shown the footage I have for this Abyss cycle. So there's things I can show and things that have happened, but this is my boy D-Luke. I'm going to show you one of the strongest D-Lukes you can see in the face of this game. Alright, this won't be as chopped up as like the Yoimiya one, so it might be a bit longer, but that's beside the point. The whole point of this is the test level 8 talent Furina, which is what we're doing here with D-Luke. So the next portion will be a little bit quicker. So it's just me seeing if I could clear this Abyss cycle with D-Luke. And with my new build that I've had on him for a little bit now, I've been enjoying it. But I never can get a chance to shine with D-Luke because he's forced to run Bennett on the team as a healer because he really needs the attack percent with Furina's damage percent bonus, which is helping. The healing is just enough when I swap around. If you swap around at least 3, people in your team, then it's usually enough, fanfare to actually get a sizable buff that is very noticeable in practice. And that's what I've gotten through my rotations from, field crafting this. I don't usually look for other people's opinions when I'm trying to play some of my favorite characters because not a lot of people play D-Luke. I could even make a guide on him if I wanted to, but anyways, that's beside the point. Here are my moments in the Abyss of 4.3. It's pretty nice. I enjoy clearing this with D-Luke a lot more than I thought I would. I haven't touched him in a good minute. He's not been a character I've been playing a lot. Currently, I've been playing I'll Hate Them a lot. But I never got tired of playing this guy. He is a character I'll never stop enjoying playing. So, yeah, that's not going to always stop for me. D-Luke is also my first ever character I triple crowned on my account. I only have 2 triple crowns. So yeah, that's saying something after the course of me playing this game for almost 3 years now. Feels good, man. Suck it.
Race to the wicked.
Everybody stand back!
Dawn, break forth.
Everybody stand!
Dawn, break forth.
Time to shine! Game's up. Game's over. Point. Going in!
Dawn, break forth. Race to the wicked.
Not done yet.
Race to the wicked.
That was close, but man, do I not get tired of playing D-Luke. I don't know what it is, man. I love the feeling of pulling out the big phoenix out of a sword. I love the concept of that. I'm sorry. It's just, I love big weapons. Not a lot of people like this type of weapon type, But I also love how fast he feels when I slash in between his skills. He's just an OG that I'll never stop liking to use. He feels great to play. And as expected, he performed admirably well. Of course, his Abyss Cycle is also on the easier side, but I have been trying to improve my D-Luke ever so often. I've improved him a lot since last year, like a lot. It's actually ridiculous. So I love it. I never get tired of playing this guy. I love playing him. Feels good. And that was D-Luke. Alright, next team core, which I didn't really talk about very well. I don't know why. So I have to do it here. So, the Hu Tao and Furina core. This one is aight. For some reason, I love the flow of D-Luke more than Hu Tao, even though the zipping around and doing chart attacks with her is cool and all. The damage is what matters, is just seeing Hu Tao personal damage higher. But to get these numbers, you have to have either a really cracked Crimson Witch build like I do, or a Marchase set with some good stats as well. And Marchase being enabled by Furina makes the team core with Hu Tao very strong, because Hu Tao can utilize the 2-piece and 4-piece very well, since the 4-piece is just crit value. But at the end of the day, this team very strong. I've gotten some really high numbers with my Crimson Witch stats, which was what was used for most of this footage here. So, for what it's worth, I wish I showed some good footage, but it seems to me I forgot to record it. Well, sadly, I recorded everything after the fact, not before, so it must have been because of this reason, because I did make this footage ahead of time. And I had just tested this team in the Abyss before making this video or preparing for it the Monday I, did the stream for this game, But it is what it is. This team is very strong and I enjoy it. The numbers I've gotten this team is hard to replicate though, but this was with Marchase Hunter at the end of that rotation there and whatnot, but yeah, it's pretty strong. I want to see if I can one-up it. Even if it's only a little bit stronger, but it's going to be hard to tell, so yeah. This suits out to be pretty nice. The constant 120 chart attacks is nice, seeing that number, build up pretty easily. Like Marchase, you can hit it pretty easily, where Crimson Witch is a bit harder, but you'll eventually hit it with Crimson Witch with a good enough build. It's just, it's not going to be sooner in the rotation with Hu Tao. Either way, I feel like I should say this because I don't know if I really say it later. Well, find out. Either way, I'm going to say it here anyways because Hu Tao is already a really strong character and her teams before Furina release were already strong. So even though her ceiling increases with Furina, I don't feel like she really needs Furina, which is just my take on that. But it's still strong and that's what matters, right? I think it's alright, even though I don't play Furina with Hu Tao very often, because the team I like playing is coming up. Now for Keqing. I had tried her out in this specific team variant with Keqing, Furina, Nahida, and Baiju, and man does it feel good to play, but when I played it in older Abyss cycles, it did not feel that good. The reason for that being is the fact that I did not have 4-piece Thundering Fury at the time. I was running 2-piece, 2-piece. My personal damage on Keqing was a lot higher on those. That's why I like playing it. But the whole reason why I say before that is the fact that Thundering Fury felt really good in this team, because right now, in this team comp, Keqing is the Hyper Moon trigger. And an aggravate DPS on top of that. This team was pretty alright. The Electro app means a lot more in this team than a little bit. So if you don't have 4-piece Thunder Fury, I recommend to play it if you actually, plan to play this team with Keqing and whatnot. It's pretty strong thanks to Nahida and Furina carrying the crap out of Keqing. But it feels pretty good. Even in this 2-piece setup, we cleared reasonably. But with 4-piece Thundering Fury, that is, in the newer Abyss cycle, when I had tested that, it felt so much better. I cannot tell you, the Electro up makes it feel so good to play. Even though I don't have like a lot of EM on Kuching, the Hyper Balloons still feel good when they do damage. So it is something to keep in mind. This was not the most perfect run, but it still got the job done, and I actually like catching damage in this team with level 8 talent Furina. But also, we're not done yet. I forgot to show off this Nahida build earlier in the video, so here you go. I run 4-piece Golden Troop instead of 4-piece Deep Book. I run deeper on somebody else. My Nahida's very strong at C0 with this build. While my Furina started level 8 talents, I will do the Alhaitham variant. This is my favorite team with Furina. This is the team I had in a video that you should go check out if you haven't seen it. I have hit numbers in a former Fish cycle, which was the last of this cycle, 4.2 this cycle, where I had used this exact team core with Baiju, Furina, and Cookie, getting some high crits that I've never seen out of personal damage. I've just in this full recording have played with the variant with Nahida, and even though I don't have Yalen in the team, the damage impacted is kind of noticeable. But like, I usually get around like 50k 55k spreads at most. I can't get any higher than that. Well, in this Furina team, I hit 60k pretty fast after the second rotation or so. And it feels really good to play, and it feels really nice to know that everything just turns out great. I just love how this team plays, and it's my favorite team of Furina. That being said, I haven't really shown much of the first half chambers yet, right? So let's show this team. I like doing first half with Alhaitham because he destroyed the Topa pretty good. But in that case, this is definitely the highest ceiling of Alhaitham's personal damage. I really like this team over the Nahida variant. But, you know, it is what it is if people prefer that one. In multi-target, the Nahida variant is probably going to be stronger. This team feels stronger in single target, or at least that's what it feels like. I don't know. It's like I can do the bare minimum of damage and still get a good clear at a really fast time with the way that it feels, and I really love that. This team just feels more flexible than it originally should feel, I feel like, but for some reason it feels so freaking empowering. Like, what else is there to say? I mean, Baiju tops me up very quickly so we can get that fanfare quicker, and my Baiju's not even fully built yet. He's not completely finished. He still needs a healing bonus circuit to heal even faster, but he still feels great. You know, something else that I didn't mention, that I could do my rotations differently every time instead of trying to do it all the same way, and it will still feel strong. It's really a remarkable thing. It really is. I love it. Alright, out of all my teams when testing this at level 8 Furina and level 10 Furina for max on Crown, I hate this boss with this team for some reason because he loves to move around a lot. But I did learn why he does it. It's because I'm not killing the little dudes that he spawns around the field, because those little Topas do a lot after a while. But it's really annoying, to be honest. I don't quite understand why, but I don't like that. I did learn that Baiju's shield could help, you know, hit the little Topas, which was nice, but outside of that, getting a fast clear was annoying when he would move around a lot, because there was nothing I could do about it. He does it a lot with this specific team for some reason, so I could never get a really fast clear. But even though I don't have the footage, I have cleared this boss in under a minute before, like without it going under 9 minutes here, and I was really like delighted about it. Like, the only reason why it happened was because I had subtle mistakes happen that affected my clearance. It is what it is. Now, with all these clears of testing and my spiels and yapping, not completely over, but we're now done with the engrossing part of this, which is testing Furina's damage at level 8 talents. And showing it in the newest Abyss cycle, pretty much, right? So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and crown her talent and then replay every team, except for Yoimiya, with her crown talent to see if there's any semblance of differences I could show. It's time. That's Furina. To see how much you impacted my teams. I'm not gonna go out of my way to show off Yoimiya, because F that. But it's gonna be nice. Gonna be nice. Getting us up there. Crown damage percent, man. I can't wait to see how good this is in my most recent teams, because my Diluc can hit pretty hard. My Hu Tao already hits pretty hard. And now, we gotta show off some of these teams. So, let's go ahead and start off the Hu Tao team. Ah yes, redoing this Abyss again. Well, there was actually something interesting that was shown, which I couldn't easily replicate again. Either way, against like the mechanical array, I've hit like 150k on my earlier build before level 10 talent Furina. But, you know, I didn't feel like trying to retry to see if Hu Tao would hit that number again. All I know is I get, you know, higher numbers on her target attack sooner. That's really all it means with the conversion with Furina, which is fine. Now, this run against Tulpa was my fastest run I've gotten on Hu Tao. I feel like I could have done it a little bit faster, but it doesn't really matter. This boss can be somewhat annoying, but it's easier to manage with someone like Hu Tao compared to Hatham, because for some reason this boss likes to move around a lot. He doesn't move around as often when I use this team for some reason, but I guess it is what it is. Either way, this was the Hu Tao team with Furina. So, like I said before, it's a good team. It's not something I feel like Hu Tao really needs, but if you like playing Hu Tao, this raises her ceiling. And of course, Furina raises everybody's ceilings. But it's more noticeable for characters that aren't as strong as others. Yeah. Now, back to Diluc. Yeah, this was pretty damn good. It felt better. Obviously, I still did this in the second half of this cycle. I don't want to deal with the Tulpa with Diluc. It's not going to feel comfortable to play. I forced Bennett with Diluc because it just feels better to play than using Jean, even though some people prefer that. It's up to you if you prefer that when you're playing with, you know, Furina. But for me, the damage I like doing on Diluc feels more beneficial with Bennett on the team. Until we get something else for Pyro's supports in the future, I hope. But either way, we're still out here. Diluc's still fun for me to play. Not really much to say with him. It just feels like the damage ceiling that Furina provided him was noticeable to a point that I really liked it. I'm not even it feels like I could actually use him more in the Abyss if I want to. That's what it feels like when I use Furina with him. Alright, Ka-ching. Obviously, the only thing to benefit that will be the most noticeable is probably my Nahida damage in this team comp, to be honest. Like, my Nahida damage is very noticeable, more so than Ka-ching's. But that's kind of what I expected from this team. My Nahida's very strong, so either way, Ka-ching is doing good amount of damage. It's still, you know, comparable and contributing. So that's all that matters. I do like this team rather a good amount, actually. Even though it feels like Ka-ching being subtly carried by this, because there are two Titans on the team. They're both Archons, man. They're always going to be strong. They're both Denjo and Hydro, some of the strongest elements in the game right now. So it's like, Hydro's never going to be put down, so there isn't really much to be said on that. But either way, Keqing is going to be slapping because of these two Titans that are helping. But her damage has been increased as well by Furina, so I don't want to ignore that either. And then there was one. The big guns, my strongest team. The team that always keeps giving me numbers that feels good with all the small numbers that are pretty decently large with a character like Al-Haytham. He is really one of my favorite characters that I've played, and he's my second character I've ever crowned. So, obviously, it may look a bit biased, but again, see for yourself the builds I have, the build I'm currently running. It feels more impactful with Furina's buff when I have crit damage. But this isn't gonna be the only thing we do. Yeah, there is something else I need to share. But before that, let's just show this run. It's gonna be real quick here with me explaining it. Yeah, the ceiling feels like an increase, but I didn't test it enough to really feel like I could have gotten something as minuscule in this team as I could have. But again, it's hard for me to tell with the Haytham because he does a lot of small, big numbers that are not considerably big to other players maybe that like screenshot damage, but he does a lot of small hits that are big hits. So with that in mind, right now I haven't seen anything too crazy because the jump between talent level 8 and talent 10 Furina for crowning her burst isn't the absolute craziest, but it's still noticeable. And right now it's only very subtle things I notice, which is mostly from Haytham small hits. Well, either way, this is it for Haytham, my boy, the homie, the legend. Still gonna use him for a long time. Very strong character. I enjoy playing him. But we're not done yet. There actually is one more team I want to show. This team right here, I have been told, even in theory crafting, that this is the highest damaging, like hyper boom variant, quick boom variant, whatever you want to call it. This is the strongest Al-Haytham team, and it takes a lot of effort to make this team, you know, for its content. I've never fully tested it at all before crowning Furina's burst. I never touched it because I just prefer how comfortable Baiju is. So this will be my first experience seeing how this feels. Test against the Topher. Oh yes, Nahida with Prototype Amber and Cooking in a Furina team. The sustain of HP is actually surprisingly decent. I was actually surprised by that. I didn't think it was gonna feel decent enough like that. Also, going back to the footage, at first I said, you know, Haytham damage might not be able to shine as high at the other variant because of the way Baiju boosts Haytham personal damage. But I should have known the EM buff that Nahida gives him a lot of damage. That really surprised me, but that was really good.
Process of elimination.
Man, I could have gotten a better clear, man. When it comes to Furina, I'll say this much. She felt pretty impactful on my account, to say the least. I liked it. I mean, it is what it is. If you play other teams outside of like the strongest of the strongest teams. Characters that are lacking in damage will feel a lot better with her than characters that are already strong. So even though you can slide in your favorite team to play her because you like her and the character you like playing as well, then it should be fine. It's just finding that threshold of how much of an increase she makes that will feel impactful for you. But for me, this is basically where I end this off. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was fun to do this, but to really get this damage on with Furina, it's okay at best at C0. I'm sure when I want to do C2, and I will get C2 in one day, it will be a little bit more damaging, I'm sure. But again, that will increase the ceiling of your favorite teams to a point that she'll feel like a must-have for your account for what you want her to do with your favorite characters. But that does not mean she's a must-have character. Of course, her caveats needing a healer. It is what it is. She's doing God's work, and I'm sure she'll get stronger in the future with future characters. I really doubt that they would make a character gated behind healers to not release healers that synergize with her in existing teams. I will catch you guys next time.